Hi, everyone. My name is Leanne, and I'm so excited to welcome you to today's My LA2050 Ideas Showcase. This is the 7th My LA2050 Grants Challenge, an open call for ideas to make LA the best place to live, learn, create, play, and connect. This year, we received 285 submissions, and with the help of Social Venture Partners Los Angeles, we narrowed it down to our top 25. Today, you'll be hearing from the top 5 finalists in the play category, up for vote now. Each of our play finalists will share about their organizations and about their proposals, and then take time to answer audience questions. If anyone joining us today would like to engage in the Q&A, we invite you to use the chat function on your screen. Once we're done, we encourage you to all go to challenge.la2050.org to cast your votes. Remember, your votes determine the final awards that these finalists will receive. Your host for today's My LA2050 Idea Showcase has decades of philanthropic experience in our region and currently serves as the interim president and CEO at the Mayor's Fund for Los Angeles and the president of the California Volunteers Fund. Please welcome Deidre Lind.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much, Leanne, for that introduction. And how fun that we get to start off our Monday with the play category. This is the LA2050 finalist pitch for the play goal category. And today you'll hear from the 5 organization finalists, as Leanne mentioned. But first, I just want to do a quick reminder that today opens the application for renter's assistance in the city of Los Angeles. Please, please encourage anyone that needs support during this unprecedented time to please apply. The application window does close on Friday. For more information, you can go to hcidla.lacity.org. And please share that link with anyone that you know and through any of your social media channels. Thanks for indulging me on that. Today, we're here focused on the issue of play, which is especially near and dear to my heart, since I spent 10 years spreading play to some of the most remote corners of the world. I love that LA2050 has included play in its vision for the future of Los Angeles by stating this: by the year 2050, people of all ages will enjoy safe homes, safe neighborhoods, and safe places to play. Every neighborhood will provide its residents with vibrant park space, and residents will love their neighborhoods. If play can get us there, that's pretty powerful. The measures for success that My LA2050 has laid out include things like access to open space, walking and biking, open street gatherings like we're seeing now, youth sports participation, and a decrease in gun violence and obesity. It's no doubt we're all here today because we agree on the value of play. We know, and there's plenty of research that states that kids that play are stronger learners. Play promotes stronger social and emotional skills. And when we play, our brains develop creatively. But play is critical for adults too. We were just talking offline about how important play is for all of us. It's documented that play is good for reducing stress and promoting overall well-being, which all of us could use a little of right now, I think. How we play is emblematic in the 5 programs that we'll meet today. Each brings a very unique perspective to their approach on promoting play, with a shared belief that play links to the well-being of our communities. So with that, just a quick reminder to use your chat function, and you can ask any questions in that chat function that you see on the screen. So without further ado, let me introduce our first presenter. And it's my pleasure to welcome a longtime friend and colleague, Vicki Israel, from the City of LA Department of Rec and Parks. Now, I have to confess, I have a bit of a soft spot for public-private partnerships, understanding that government simply can't be all things everywhere. And that's what Vicki does every day. If you didn't know, the City of LA Department of Rec and Parks was created in 1889, making it one of our oldest entities focused on play and with a mission to provide safe, accessible parks and recreation opportunities for all. And today it oversees 444 public park facilities, mostly free of charge. And while that sounds big, it's intended to serve the 4 million people across Los Angeles. As Vicky pointed out to me earlier, it's been a challenge because 37% in the latest research that's been done shows that 37% of our population does not live within a 10-minute walk to a park. And that's a challenge. But before I give you time for your pitch, Vicky, I have to ask about Griffith Park. Most people don't realize that Griffith Park is one of the largest urban parks in the country. It's 4 times the size of Golden Gate Park in San Francisco and 5 times the size of Central Park in New York City. I've heard it's housed an ostrich farm. And even more interesting, its namesake, Colonel Griffith J. Griffith, was somewhat eccentric. And I'm wondering if you could start us off with a funny story about our friend, Colonel Griffith.
Well, we have to be very grateful to Colonel Griffith, and not just to him, but also to his family and the Griffith J. Griffith Trust that exists today, that actually does support parts of the park on a regular basis. So we're very grateful for that. Griffith Park is a treasure to the city of Los Angeles, with over 4,300 acres of parkland that is open to the public 7 days a week and is basically free for most of the time. There are wonderful amenities within Griffith Park. Just to name a few, of course, Griffith Observatory, Greek Theater, LA Zoo, the Autry Museum, Travel Town, the pony rides, and our very well-known merry-go-round that there's very few that exist today still, and it's been there for many, many years. But it is also has hidden treasures that many people don't know about. There is a youth golf academy up at the top of the hill, and there's also 2 residential camps, one for boys and one for girls. Camp Hollywoodland, Griffith Park Boys Camp, that many people are just not familiar with. So there are many treasures within the park. There's 3 golf courses and so many things to do, 56 miles of hiking trails, equestrian trails. One of the things that we put a pause on is that we did launch a few months ago the Park Line, which is a free shuttle on the weekends that will literally take you from one end of the park to the other, stop at various amenities of the park. But under today's environment with the pandemic, we have put a pause on it. So we look forward to returning that when it is safe so that people can come on the weekends and less cars within the park.
Thanks for that, Vicky. Okay, you're ready. Go for it.
Okay, so with that, I do want to say that the City of LA Department of Recreation and Parks is probably the most comprehensive social service agency that we have in the city, providing affordable recreation programs, cultural programs, activities, and of course, passive, beautiful parks, over 450 parks. Just to give you a flavor of how large the department is and how much we do manage, we do manage 132 recreation centers, about 40 synthetic soccer fields, 12 museums, 100 plus outdoor basketball courts, 13 lakes, 35 accessible playgrounds for those that need some adaptive assistance. Indoor gyms, we have 321 tennis courts, 256 ball fields, and it just goes on with dog parks, swimming pools, etc. So we are a very large agency. And our mission, of course, is to enhance the quality of life for all Los Angelinos in providing the attractive, safe, and well-maintained parks with diverse recreational opportunities to enrich every single community. The department envisions an accessible park system for all residents and is committed to equity by specifically focusing its investments to close current disparities in park access and in park programs and recreational opportunities for all. These disparities have been found to disproportionately impact low-income communities, and communities of color. While Recreation and Park continues to pursue the acquisition and development of new parks, it is always our strategies and our outreach must be pursued to address the inequities. One way to address the inequities is by the Mobile Recreation Initiative, and that can bring themed vans to the local communities of the greatest need, especially those communities, as you mentioned, 37% of the communities are not in a walking 10-minute walk to a park or to open space. So originally we were partnering with the LAUSD schools, and we imagined actually providing these extra opportunities in the school playgrounds on the weekend, so it would not interfere with any of the education, but to do it during the weekends when school was not in session. However, with COVID-19, the pandemic, we have suspended that thought, and we've had to rethink and have to move forward in a different venue. And what we've decided to do is to just focus on going into the neighborhoods and into the neighborhoods where there are not lots of amenities or organized, structured recreation centers, which we have 132 citywide. So our themed vans would visit pocket parks, neighborhoods, communities that just do not have any organized recreational programs. And these vans would bring a variety of themed activities, activities that would allow, obviously today, social distancing, stable groups, and we would be addressing and really wanting to bring activities that will complement our 2028 Olympics that are coming to Los Angeles. We're very excited about it. The department has been involved in that, and we feel that there are many non-traditional Olympic sports that really could use some additional visibility, but not only that, giving kids the opportunity to learn how to participate in some of these activities. And some of these activities that are, as we call, a little bit non-traditional are things like volleyball and skateboarding and field hockey and some wheelchair tennis and getting back to some of the basics. So what we came up with was these themed vans. One would be solely for focusing on Olympic activities. And again, some of them would be, a van would be equipped and it would go to the communities with skilled staff that could actually introduce these types of activities. Archery
I'm gonna jump in here for just a quick minute because we're running a little bit short on time. What I love about this program is that it takes play to where Angelenos are. What you're talking about is actually taking these experiences into corners of our city and community that really don't have access to play. And that's, I think, what's so powerful about this. I'm telling our listeners, this is not an easy decision that you'll have to make. So, Vicki, I'm going to put you on pause for a quick minute and we'll bring you back for questions. But now I'd like to introduce Nicole Whiteman from the LA Dodgers Foundation. And I have to say, just saying the words LA Dodgers sort of puts me at ease a little bit because we're in a crazy moment and we should all be out there at Dodger Stadium, and what a crazy pandemic, unprecedented moment we're in. So thank you, Nicole, for allowing me to actually say LA Dodgers when I haven't said it in a while. But the LA Dodgers Foundation is a unique organization that has a proven history of leveraging the power of play to impact lives. While they use baseball as the vehicle, their efforts really focus on the comprehensive needs of Angelenos. And through play, health, wellness, and education, they provide opportunities and access for all, no matter the zip code. I have to take a quick minute though, because I need to thank Nicole for an incredibly great profile in the LA Times the other day, which highlighted the fact that she is often the only Black woman in the room amongst other MLB executives. She said in the article there's a lot of miseducation out there, but she also said that there's a responsibility that she always feels that she has to have. So I just have to take a quick moment, Nicole, and tell you how inspired I was by that article. And if you could just, for a quick minute, talk about how you have really taken this opportunity and the platform you've been given to be able to talk about the importance of race and equity in an organization that didn't always see it that way, and how you have really taken that drive to the Dodgers Foundation.
Hey, Deidre, thank you so much. Thank you. As one of the few Black women executives in Major League Baseball, I definitely know the importance of equity and inclusion, and it is the work of the Dodgers Foundation. Yet I have had to find a lot of balance because I know what it feels like to worry endlessly about my Black husband when he leaves the house, even when it's for a quick run to the store. My husband is actually an educator who pours his heart and soul into his work, and despite his dedication to inspiring the next generation of leaders, he's not above the possibility of experiencing violence, especially by those tasked to protect and serve. And as a mother of two incredibly spirited, intelligent, and fun-loving sons, one of whom is learning to drive, I struggle to manage the anxiety of allowing him to explore the world on his own. I want him to be prepared for every scenario and to clearly understand that many are going to reduce the value of his life just based on his skin color. So being a Black woman in a heavily white space means having to advocate and educate during some of the most trying times. And while my work with the foundation is so thrilling, Deirdre, this component can honestly task even the strongest of us.
Thank you for being so honest and for sharing, Nicole. It is incredibly inspiring to watch what you have done with the Dodgers Foundation, and we are here to support you. And on that note, take it away. Give us your pitch.
Okay, so that's a great segue to our project, which will impact a significant part of our Black community in Los Angeles County. It's an absolute honor to be a finalist in the 2050 Grants Challenge. Thank you for inviting us to share more about our proposal. The missions of LADF and LA2050 are so aligned. At LADF, we like to say it's bigger than baseball. We stand firmly in our belief that zip code should never define opportunity. Without a doubt, LA is the best place to play. As we think about the magnitude of the LA 2050 goal, we are thrilled to serve as a key piece of the equation. Every neighborhood should provide its residents with vibrant park space where they feel safe and supported. This core belief has fueled our history of making an impact in communities that need support the most. We have built 51 Dodgers Dream Fields throughout LA County, including universally accessible baseball and softball fields designed for kids with special needs and physical disabilities. Since 2003, we have invested more than 10 million in these fields, and over 400,000 youth have access to a Dodgers Dream Field. These fields serve as safe havens, and frankly, they are outdoor classrooms. LADF will unveil 3 Dodgers Dream Fields at Gonzalez Park in Compton. This project celebrates the power of play by honoring Jackie Robinson and by reviving a love for baseball and softball play in the area. While we will support young people with programs that focus on T-ball through high school and college athletics, this project also features a fitness and training zone. It has solar components, and we are incorporating the LADF Science of Baseball curriculum. It's our STEM fun textbook. We fully recognize that we cannot do this work alone. Voting for LADF's project means voting for the power of collaboration. We often say partnership is the secret sauce to our success, and it is here as well. This partnership profoundly features an alliance with public and private entities who share our vision for a better Los Angeles and beyond. According to 95% of park directors, Dreamfields contribute to a positive change in the park's environment. We anticipate a similar outcome at Gonzalez Park. This project was extremely important to us before the coronavirus pandemic, and we're already on the ground in the communities where we facilitated programs. And we're proud to be on the front lines. However, we cannot deny that this global crisis has shifted life for all of us. And while we do not know the exact path ahead and when we'll be able to gather, we are confident that outdoor spaces like the Dodgers Dream Fields at Gonzalez Park will become even more valuable as we strive to keep all populations safe. This crisis proves that we cannot allow fear to dismiss our obligation to the most vulnerable among us. Opportunities like LA2050 remind us that the grueling hours and the emotional investment are worth it. Our kids are worth it. When we reflect on our impact on policy and the future of the city, LADF recognizes the deeply rooted systemic injustices plague the communities where we serve, and they pose a threat. Nonetheless, we will not waver. Access is one of our pillars. At our dream fields in Compton and Watson in South LA, we know that we have a greater obligation to provide a blanket of support considering what these communities face. Our mission is grounded in our belief that LA is the best place to play. It's the best place to learn, and it's the best place to connect. By focusing on our approach, we simultaneously tackle the hurdles that keep Angelenos from achieving their best. We are in this fight for the long haul, and we're in this fight with each and every one of you. Vote bigger than baseball. Thank you.
Thanks, Nicole. I love that you said that LA is the place for play, because you're absolutely right. And I love that your approach includes all sectors, government, private, nonprofit, because it really will take all of us working together to make a difference in our communities. Now I'd like to bring up Michael Sheehy from the LA Maritime Institute. Now, as you all probably notice, I'm actually sitting outside, because one of the important components of play is that we get to be outside. Now, I know that I have a privilege in being able to do that, and I'm escaping 2 teens and 2 cats and a husband who are all inside. So it's actually quieter for me to be out here. But in truth, we know the endorphin rush and the actual real tangible difference that it makes to be able to get outside. And we know that not everyone has the access to do that. At the Los Angeles Maritime Institute, they've actually served 80,000 young people over 28 years with once-in-a-lifetime experiences to voyage on a tall sailing ship. And Michael, sign me up, because it looks amazing. It's unfathomable for many young folks to be able to be a part of that kind of a living classroom, but that's what LA Maritime Institute is all about. Before we get you started on your pitch though, Michael, would you give us a quick second to tell us what drew you to the Top Sail program and the Ocean Adventure Together programs?
Oh, you bet. Thank you so much. And thank you again for having us and for being a finalist. Yes, what drew me actually to Los Angeles Maritime Institute, which we all call LAMI, is really a full circle of my own background. So I actually fell in love with the ocean through sailing, and that led me to being a marine biologist, then a marine conservationist, then finally a nonprofit strategy and development consultant. And I was actually volunteering as crew on the LAMI boats when I was told a fantastic story of a boy, a 13-year-old boy from Inglewood, who shyly admitted that he had never been in the ocean before, that he actually didn't have much swimming experience. And without skipping a beat, a crew member showed him how, with a life vest on, he could play safely in the ocean. And he bravely jumped in, emerged with the biggest smile, the biggest grin and pride, and was like, wait, what is this? This tastes salty. And that just goes to show you the impact and what we forget maybe too often, which is the access that kids have to the ocean.
Perfect segue. Off you go.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so it actually is that, we find at LAMI that many kids in Los Angeles have never, ever visited the coast or swum in the ocean. And California prides itself on this vibrant ocean and sandy beaches, yet these magnificent public natural resources are not truly accessible to everyone. Many Angelenos can't afford coastal activities, do not have the information or resources to know what is available, or have misconceptions of the dangers of what it means to be on the ocean. This is deeply sad, given how spending time in and on the ocean improves our mental and physical health, awakens our new aspirations, and opens our eyes to the world beyond our own neighborhoods. For 28 years, the Los Angeles Maritime Institute has provided outdoor education and recreation programs to kids 11 to 18 years old aboard our majestic tall ships, similar to the ones you find in the Pirates of the Caribbean. While giving boat tours at our LA Harbor docks, time and time again, we see kids, they light up when we tell them, yes, these sailboats do sail. And we take young people just like you on incredible educational adventures. At the same time, we see parents' hands usually tighten around their child with the understandable fears of the risks a trip like this may hold in store for their precious kids. These anxieties and the limited access of so many are what inspired Los Angeles Maritime Institute to create the Ocean Adventure program, intended for kids and their parents. The programs will start with an Ocean Adventure Day, spending time aboard a tall ship, getting a taste of what sailing and maritime life are like, followed by an introduction to water-based activities like snorkeling and kayaking. The young participants will then next sail on a thrilling 5-day and night immersive summer voyage. Parents join the kids for the last voyage day to witness and share in their child's newfound skills and positive transformation. And believe me, they do transform. The program will be completely free of charge for the participating families. An opportunity like this has untold value in deepening the connection between parents and child, and profoundly enriches the development and perspectives of that child, an opportunity typically only available to those more privileged. To break the barriers that keep so many kids from experiencing such an extraordinary rite of passage, please vote for Los Angeles Maritime Institute's Ocean Adventure Together program in LA2050's Play category. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts and from the depths of the ocean.
Thank you, Michael. I love the idea of being able to bring more people to the ocean, and you guys are doing that every single day. It is truly transformative. So thank you so much for all that you do.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to our next category, to our next nonprofit. Rianne Estrada is from Public Matters. And as I mentioned before, public-private partnerships are something that just personally means so much to me because I've seen the value of what cross-sector collaboration can really do. And Public Matters does that. They're a creative studio for civic engagement, which I love that description. Innovation at the heart of civic matters is, to me, what makes up the recipe for our future. She went on to describe Public Matters as bringing conspiratorial joy, collaboration, and disarming approachability to projects that address seemingly intractable social justice issues. So I just have to pause a quick minute because when I see conspiratorial joy, I have to find out what that means. So Rianne, would you do a quick definition of that for me?
Sure. Thank you so much, Deidre. And thank you to LA2050 for having Public Matters in the finals for the play category. One thing that I do want to clarify is that Public Matters is actually a social enterprise. It is a not nonprofit, but all the work we do is public benefit, and it's rooted in equity work and social justice. And so with that, when I think about the notion of conspiratorial joy, it has to do with the fact that Public Matters plays well with others. Like all of our work is collaborative in nature. We're always building relationships across partners of different scales, from individuals to small grassroots organizations, all the way up to larger institutions. Because what we're interested in is really systems change, so that because a lot of the issues that we're addressing can't be addressed kind of in a bubble. And we need all of us to be able to work to make the change we want to see. And to go back to conspiratorial joy, like part of that comes down to the fact that when you're doing social justice work, it's challenging. Like the work is hard and it is long-term, right? We have to be in it for the long run. And for Public Matters, it's really important to make sure that the way that we sustain ourselves through that process is to make sure that the process of the struggle doesn't strip us of our joy. Because that joy, which is at the heart of what play is, that joy is powerful. And we can use that to sustain each other and to buoy each other up and to do the work that we need to be able to do together.
Well, conspiratorial joy is going to stick with me for a long time. I love that. So with that, Rianne, why don't we turn it over to you for your pitch?
Thank you so much. Again, I'm Rihanna Estrada. I am the co-founder of Public Matters, and I'm here today to ask for your vote. We're asking you to vote for University Park Slow Jams in the play category. As I mentioned, Public Matters is a social enterprise. We're creative people, so we use the arts as a lever for social change. We work within communities of color to build capacity for self-determination so that neighbors can come together and imagine and envision and shape the places where they live, work, and play. And in the past, like we've done this work in healthy food access, in education, and in this case, traffic safety. Play is integral to who Public Matters is and how we do our work. Play has the power to break down barriers. It can conjure space for relationships to blossom into partnerships and eventually into networks that can sustain the work for the long haul. Because when we're talking about transformative work, addressing systemic inequities, it is a long game, right? So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you some lovely visuals, a lot from the before times. Okay, so this brings us to our proposal for LA2050, University Park Slow Jams. So basically, with University Park Slow Jams, and we've done slow jams in the past, what we do is we take giant props, some music on a portable boombox, crosswalk choreography, mostly amateur, and we mix them together with deep community conversations, intentional relationship building, and collective idea generation. We add time and funding, sprinkle a little love, and what you end up with, we hope, is a badass network of advocates who are positioned to transform the culture of street safety in South Los Angeles. Given the funding, Public Matters will work with our partners to build this community-centered, people-powered network, because we cannot do this alone. This is a big lift for everybody. And so our partners include USC Kid Watch and their partner K-12 schools. They've done a lot of work on public safety more broadly in the area. Pedestrian advocacy organization Los Angeles Walks, which has been doing the work of mobility justice for a very long time. We also have on our team USC Price School of Policy, Arts and Action, and also USC faculty and students, mix of student populations including planners and policy folks, as well as artists. So what we'll do is we'll bring together neighbors who, despite differences in background, culture, and life experiences, share the same streets and their dangers. The dad walking his daughter to Norwood Elementary School, the USC undergrad riding her bike to campus, the elder resident with a cane who doesn't have enough time to cross the light of Vermont and Expo. And we do this because, streets are dangerous in LA, especially in communities of color like University Park in where it's gotten worse since COVID. And you know, the University Park is home to 6 high injury network streets. The area, which is 1.1 square miles, has a ton of injuries in a short period of time. And so at University Park Slow Jams, we think that we can do better. Safety is important if we're going to be able to play. And so we're asking for your vote. Safer streets for families, friends, and neighbors, for people who walk, bike, roll, and scoot. Vote Public Matters for University Park Slow Jams in the play category. Thank you.
Thank you, Rianne. I can't imagine a community that really truly values play without safer streets. So thank you so much for that proposal. I told you it's going to be really hard to vote for one of these. And we have still one left. Let me bring up Jerry Carrera from Urban Warehouse, which is also known as the Garage Board Shop. Now, I first heard about the Garage Board Shop when we did some work with them through the city's Summer Night Lights program. And what I love about this project is that it takes the fun of skateboarding only when you can show your passport, which is a report card. And that's how you get into the storefront. I think that this is the only organization I've heard of that is a skateboarding shop that also has programming for youth and with a dream to help our children in need with guidance, a better future, hope, education, but mostly with a big smile by the end of the day. And I know for a fact, because I've seen it firsthand, that those kids are smiling. Not only are the youth doing education work, but they're also supporting their community through recycling and cleanup efforts and other programs that the Garage Board Shop has. Skateboarding was born right here in California, but it was born closer to the ocean in Venice. And Jerry, I'm really curious about your first experiences that you remember being a part of this underground world of skateboarding.
Hi guys.
I think we need you to turn on your camera.
Where's my camera? Come on, technical team.
There you are.
First of all, I want to thank all you guys and wish you the best of luck. You guys have a tremendous output in our LA community. Keeping these kids healthy and looking forward to the future is my main concern. So I want to congratulate all you guys that are on this program today. And I want to wish you all the best of luck. Equal luck, that is. My first experience was not knowing what we were doing as a very young kid. Very underserved, underprivileged in our East LA neighborhood. We used to get the market baskets from our local market and come down the highest hill in East Los Angeles, City Terrace, and see how fast we could come down to the bottom. Having 3-4 brothers at the time, we put bars on it to try to slow down, but we found out that those bars would make sparks. So we tried to come down even faster. So that was my first most exciting, and I still did it I think I did at 48 years old for a documentary, which was the funnest thing ever. None of my kids wanted to do it, but I had to be the first one to go out there and do it again. And I got one of my youngest 3-year-olds came out, and then another kid jumped. And before you know, we had 3 baskets, 7 kids coming down the hill at about 15, 20 miles an hour.
Jerry, I am so glad that I was not your mother at the time, because I think I would have had a lot of gray hairs watching this.
Yeah, my mom is 84 years old, and she's a tremendous mother and dad figure to all that.
So with that, I'm going to turn it over to you to do your pitch.
Thank you, guys. Once again, my name is Jerry Carrera. I'm from the Garage Board Shop / Urban Warehouse. We run an after-school program. It works on an increment of points. The kids come in and they do point program. So by doing their homework on a daily basis, they get 3 points per homework. So they could bring an array of anywhere from 3 to 5 homeworks a day. So they get 10, 15, 20 points a day, and they accumulate to a 100-point increment. But the 100-point increment will get them hats, t-shirts, skateboards, scholarships to go on field trips, and even clothing, skateboards. Sometimes their parents can't afford what we have to sell, but the parent know that the money that's here goes into their scholarship program. The kids have created an entrepreneurship of creating their own brand. And by going in and creating their own brand, they recycle the world. We go into 32 parks, thank you to the mayor GRID program, the Gang Reduction Youth Development. So we go into 32 parks, and the first thing we do is we clean up, we recycle, we bring home the aluminum and the plastic, and make about anywhere from $100 to $120 every 10 days. And that money goes into chocolate boxes. And the chocolate box is very lucrative for us because our smiles on our faces from our kids become about $3,500 a month. And that money goes into their scholarship program / their brand or whatever they need to buy. Sometimes the household doesn't come with the funds to buy the skateboard or the t-shirt or the hat or whatever they're making. So the kids, we teach them the young entrepreneur, the self-esteem, and the educational part. Number one, learn how to read and write and multiply just to be part of life. whether it's a short-term college term or a long-term college term, to become an engineer, an architect, or just a trade to get an electrician or something in life. Here, we don't have the guidance at home. We don't have the mom and the dad with the pop-up tent and the ice chest. We don't have the environment where most sports do have soccer moms and baseball dads. Here, our kids are very, very self-esteem. They go to the skate park on their own, and they build that self-esteem within each other by bringing that skateboard and challenging themselves. A part of life, falling, closing the door, losing your girlfriend, not passing your grade, is a skateboard challenge in life where you grab the scars from your feet and from your hands and everything else that challenge you, a part of life, where our kids just keep trying harder and harder to make that goal and make that trick and try to concern. These parents are not there. Grandma's there. Dad's nowhere around. Mom might be there, too busy working. But these kids are there in an everyday challenge. And just so you know, we've created over probably close to 3,000 kids a year. And achievement, 72% of our kids have created 3.0 GPA just by coming here and skateboarding, art, music, hip hop, whatever the kids want to do. We're trying to create an entity for them. We're on Zoom now with our mentors, and our mentors are here to help them on Zoom, and they still reward them and take them to their outlets and take the pizza on Friday night and take them t-shirts periodically, take them hats and the rewards. So our mentors are here 100%. We're still on Zoom doing the skateboard and educational program as well. And with that to say, we need your votes. We need your votes at LA2050.org to help us create this. I was listening to, I want to say Vicky, about the Griffith Park. We don't have a training facility. We applied for the 6th Street Bridge coming into LA. There's 11 acres of that. We applied for a skate park. Apparently we have quote unquote, sure, we're gonna do it for the skate club. That's what we're looking for. But the Griffith Park would be a great idea for a training facility or a forum for skateboarding, because we are going epic. We are going viral. Skateboarding is going to the 2020 Olympics, one now, 22 Olympics, hopefully back to China, or bring it here to the US, because we are a mainstream sport. So help kids with that, it would be incredibly, incredibly incentive to keep them keep their grades A. And going to USC as well, they're doing a wild research on skateboarding and giving us scholarships as well. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much.
I'm so sorry. Part of my job is to make sure we have some time for questions. Jerry, your story is so valuable, and the types of stories that you have that are coming out of your organization every single day about kids' lives that are changed, GPAs that are going up, they truly are making a difference. And I love your idea of being able to work together with some of the folks on this call. So that's a great idea that we should, My LA 2050, I'm sure we'll try to make sure that there's some connections there. I have a couple quick questions before we wrap up the call. So if I could just ask for everyone to stay for a couple more minutes. Vicky, the first question's going to you. So have you implemented any summer programs, Vicky, at the Department of Recreation and Parks here in the city of LA? How's it going with all of the COVID protocols? And how are kids, families, and your staff coping?
Thank you.
We need your camera. Oh, there you are.
There, okay. First of all, I just want to say, Jerry, we need to collaborate, because one of our themed vans should be something to do with skateboarding, kicks and flips and rails, and taking it out to all the different communities. So not just kids at some locations get that opportunity, but everywhere. So I'd love to see that on the move, the board on the move. But to answer your question, or to those who have asked, we did launch a Summer Play LA program. We have 46 different locations of a summer day camp program that absolutely addresses social distancing and stable environments. We limited the capacity to the maximum of 48 at those locations of kids. Last week was our first week. We had over 1,200 kids participating. This week, the numbers are closer to about 1,400. And we have been very careful about the social distancing, following all of the CDC guidelines, county public health. We have aquatic folks actually taking screenings of the staff as well as the kids when they arrive, so that we're really giving a comfortable environment to not just to the kids, but to the parents, so that they can continue to work and still know that their kids can be in a safe environment. So, so far so good. We're doing great. Many facilities are offering it free. You can go online to www.laparks.org, Summer Play LA. You can sign up. It is an online registration. So we welcome everyone. And please, thank you to LA2050 for this wonderful opportunity.
Thanks, Vicki.
You can count on us. We have a mobile skate park. We are a Tony Hawk group. So we want to be out at all the grid programs and all the youth programs. We are willing to take our skate ramp out there at any time and place.
So Jerry, I have a question from the audience for you. How many kids do you think you work with, and how do you get more kids involved in your amazing program?
On a daily basis, we generate about 30 kids a day. My retail store is about 900 square feet in the front, and my skate park is about 900 square feet in the back. But they cannot go from the front to the back unless they do their homework. But in the annually basis, we've generated anywhere in the close to the 3,000 kids a year. It's been a big impact for us. Skateboarding has grown even more since the pandemic because there's no baseball, basketball, or soccer played out in the parks. So the kids are finding a rail in their driveway, in their backyard, in the local parking lot of the shopping center, using these stop blocks or DIYs, as we call it, the do-it-yourself. So a lot of kids and parents are utilizing skateboarding, biking, and scooters as a individual sport. Keeping our kids healthy is very important, and keeping them outdoors somewhat, yes, safe, but wear your mask, wear your gloves.
That's right. Okay, Rianne, I have a question for you, and this is sort of a two-parter. So first off, I imagine this program will inspire other neighborhoods to do something similar in their neighborhood. So tips and practices or best practices you've learned that you can share is the first part. But the second part is actually more timely, which is how have you thought about your program in this COVID crisis, and particularly with the movement for Black Lives Matter? That's a community where this is particularly important when across Los Angeles, of course. And curious your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so I get a two-parter. Woo! So I'll start with how we've adapted to in this new COVID reality, and also the movement for Black Lives Matter. So the University Park Slow Jams is in an area that is Black and Latinx primarily. The residents that we would be working with are from these communities that are disproportionately at risk of what we're calling traffic violence, right? And one of the things that when we think about what street safety looks like for everyone is that we can't ignore that street safety means that folks need to be free from harassment by the police. That's an important part of what traffic safety means. Safety means, like, being able to protect your own body and your families as well. And in terms of so I'm sorry, could you repeat the first question that you asked?
Learnings about how we can take this model to other communities.
Right. And I think, so one of the things, it's important to be able to to understand that car crashes in Los Angeles County are actually the #1 cause of death for kids age 5 to 14, and for elementary and middle school kids. So when I heard that statistic, I was kind of floored, because you don't realize it, right? And it's important for us to understand that that in, like, bound up in the idea of the thought of play is the core idea of safety. like being able to feel safe so that you can play and spark your own joy. And in terms of being able, this is a project that we hope can be a model for how communities can partner across organizations of different scales to address this issue. So folks that are parents, families, their local schools, a large university with faculty and students and advocacy organizations. We hope that if we bring these people together, we're going to be able to create a network that makes it so that these folks are the ones who can make the case for the safer streets that they want to see. And we want to make sure that we're centering the voices of our BIPOC communities here, because they're the ones that have been disproportionately harmed.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to pivot us for a quick minute. I'm going to ask Nicole a question which always to me is one of the hardest questions, which has to do with evaluation. Sorry, Nicole. But the question is, can you talk more about how you evaluate success with the Dreamfields project?
Yeah, so we are very keen at the Dodgers Foundation on evaluating success. We don't do it unless we know why we're doing it. We ask ourselves quite often the so what question. So what if we actually create Dodgers Dreamfields at Gonzalez Park in the city of Compton? The reality is we first look at, where we're going. And I talked a lot about not going anywhere where we don't feel like there is a clear need. And so first and foremost, we're looking at criteria based on zip code, who's in the community, what are the needs, what are the economic conditions, all of that. Secondly, in terms of evaluating Dreamfields, first of all, I think a lot of my partners in this space, this best place to play, LA best place to play category said it best. There are so many ways to evaluate play. There's so many ways to talk about outdoor space. And so we have a lot of different indicators. We are literally looking at a whole lot in terms of, I mentioned, the statistic around the increase in park usage, the stats around, I'll use the word stats, the stats around increase in programming, increase in coaches. Our families have told us that Dreamfields bring a significant amount of community pride. Participants in programs on Dreamfields have been very explicit about the fact that this is the only place they play, the only opportunity they've had to play. What it does for our social emotional learning of our children is something that is a major component of our evaluation. So we talk about spaces, I mentioned them as being outdoor classrooms. If we can provide certain learnings that are happening on a field, and we can provide the coaches and the parents and the adults that are part of that learning, we can evaluate all of that to tell a very important story about how spaces like Dodgers Dreamfields with education components and health components can do a whole lot for youth and for their families.
Yeah. Thank you, Nicole. That sounds great. Okay, we have one last question, and that's for our friend Michael at the Top Sale program. The success of your program, Michael, is really about diving deep into communities, right? And identifying youth and their parents, which I love that angle of your program as well. But those folks that have not had an opportunity to even see the ocean. And so the question came to us is, how will you recruit participants for the program when you look into the future?
Yeah, thank you. That's a fantastic question. I feel like there's a component and an asset that LAMI has, which is our longstanding partners through the LAUSD district and the Inglewood district, that we actually will be able to work with our colleagues through the school districts to identify individuals to earn scholarships in the Ocean Adventure Together program, and really make sure that the value is found in those kids and those parents that most deserve that kind of experience, and paying particular mind to those that would otherwise not get this opportunity, and where the coast and ocean may be truly a foreign entity to them. break the biggest boundaries. So thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Michael. Okay, Leanne, I'm turning it over to you to wrap us up.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Deidre. And thank you to everyone for joining us. Thanks, Deidre, for your hosting. And thank you so much to all of our wonderful finalists for all you do every day to make LA the best place to play. And again, if you're joining us, please head over to challenge.la2050.org to vote. Thank you so much.